Hey guys, this is Michael, teacher turned trucker. It's been a while, but I want to talk a little bit about something that happened to me recently while I was working. For those of you guys who've been following me, you know I do flatbed. Um, about a week ago, had an incident where I was up on the deck of the truck and I tripped and fell and landed on the catwalk and landed on my arm. Wasn't anything super serious, but it brought some factors into play that wanted to point out to you guys. First of all, the first thing I did obviously was got up, make sure I was okay. Messed up my arm pretty good. It's doing fine now, but contacted the employer and filed an incident report so that if I had to seek medical attention, there'd be a paper trail from the day it started. So for those of you guys who are kind of wishy-washy, either I'm just going to shake it off. If you hurt yourself on the job, always notify your employer the first day when it happens as soon as possible, even if you don't think a medical treatment will be necessary. Because having worked in management and other positions in the past, if you don't notify your employer within a certain time frame, you forfeit a lot of benefits, or at the very least, you make it very difficult for yourself to be reimbursed or to be covered under the workers comp claim. Now, notifying your employer does not mean you're filing a claim, so they're not the same thing. The medical staff at TMC where I work kept in touch with me over the weekend and the next week and kept checking with me. They released me a couple days later to return to work with some modifications, namely in my situation. I suffered with range of motion, limited range of motion, and as a result of that, loss of strength in my left arm because of the swelling. So I wasn't able to work with tarps. I missed one day, so technically I could have filed for workers' comp. I think someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I chose not to because then you have to go to the doctor, then you're under doctor's care, and the doctors can order you to be out of work for an extended period of time. So rather than that, I used ice, ibuprofen, got myself working, and the after taking a day off, I went and picked up a load, and I just took it kind of easy as far as not working with tarps for a few days. So that's that part of what I want to talk about. But this brought up another issue, and that's finances itself, because all of us are in the business to make money, whether it's to pay off debt, to provide for ourselves a lifestyle that we want, to provide for a family. Um, when we get injured on the job, if you do workers' comp, you don't get the same exact money you were making. What a lot of people expect, it's usually about 2/3 or 60% after you've been out. Normally, in the past, it was up to 10 or 14 consecutive days. If it's changed or if it's different state by state, I don't know. So you have that time frame where there's a loss of income, you can't do anything. What do you do? There's a couple of things I want to mention. First, having an emergency fund. Dave Ramsey talks about this quite a bit. I've talked about it in other videos. This is where this gives you the freedom to make those decisions rather than forcing yourself back into work when you're not able to do so. By having an emergency fund, I had the option of saying to my fleet manager, I need to take a day. Send me home empty. Let me treat my arm, get it, see if I can get it back into condition so I can work. And that way I had the options. I had the control in the situation instead of feeling dictated to. So emergency fund, 3 to 6 months is what you want normally. Depending on the volatility in your market, you may decide you want to take that up 6 or 8 or 9 months. Okay, so there's that part. The other part this brings into play for me is something I really haven't talked a lot about, and that is what is called long-term disability. One of the things I found when working with flatbedding, and I asked TMC, do you offer long-term disability? The answer is no. They offer short-term disability. The problem with short-term disability is it usually will last up to about 3 months, maybe 6 months, and then after that, you're out of luck. So if you're working in the trucking industry and you get seriously injured, a lot of times you're going to be out of work more than 6 months. And sometimes some of these disabilities are going to be life changing, such that you can no longer drive a truck. Say, for example, you're working, you fall off your truck, and you get paralyzed or shatter your shoulder, you're out for a year. You're only covered for about 6 months. Now, you'll have workers' comp and stuff like that, but that'll run out after a little while. Then you have to go through the litigation if you're going to sue the employer. But we're talking about those disabilities that last the rest of your life. So what I have found myself, and I've actually been working on this for about 3 months now, ever since I found out I had a job and that TMC does not offer it. I went through my financial advisor, who we use to control our retirement account and just various financial things. And by contacting him, we've been able to get a disability policy for myself that's long term. The difference between long term and short term is long term will usually pay out up to 5 or 10 years versus 3 or 6 months. Depending on your condition and your shape you're in, they can be really cheap or they can be very expensive. Myself, having just been diagnosed recently with diabetes, it's a bit more expensive. But looking at the finances with my family, we decided that it was worth it. So long-term disability, guys, is the key to what I want to point all of you guys to. If you don't have one and you're the primary moneymaker in your family, look into it. Look at your employer, see if they have it. If not, look for a financial advisor in your community and ask questions. If you find out that, hey, I can get it through my employer, that's preferred, because it's a lot easier and a lot of times it's cheaper because you're pulled in with a lot of other people, so the prices come down quite a bit. But if you don't have it, don't think, I'm 24 years old, I'm in great shape, I don't need it. Long-term disability is what every one of us should be carrying up to the point that we have enough in retirement that we can fund whatever lifestyle we need without worry about whether we're working or not. So unless you happen to have millions and millions put away, get a long-term disability policy. Save yourself the hassle, and yeah, you may never use it, but I'm telling you, if it happens to be your day and you end up having to go out of work for a year or 2 years because of an accident or because of something unrelated to work, workers' comp doesn't cover you there. And you get in a, I don't know, you're at home, you trip and fall, you break a knee or something like that, and it doesn't heal properly. You guys see where I'm going. So long-term disability is a priority. Right before that, you usually want your 3 to 6 months emergency fund. If you have any questions about either one of those, let me know in the comments below. Again, it's been a while. I've been busy, and I do read the comments, and one of them recently, even though it was worded kind of poorly, they may have a valid point, so I didn't want to just kind of ramble. But I did have a specific message with this one. I think you guys know what it is. And if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, this is Michael, teacher turned trucker, and you guys have a great day.